Hi there, I'm Jamie Wincup and welcome to this episode of Be Street Smart Online. When we talk about a car crash, we often think about the victims. But as we saw in our crash scene episode, there are many more people involved, and we have two of them here to join us today. They are from organisations that play vital roles in rescuing crash victims. Please welcome Peter Kerwin from Fire and Rescue New South Wales and Josh McLaren from the New South Wales State Emergency Services. Welcome to Be Street Smart, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Now, you both work in some pretty intense situations, and I can't even imagine some of the things you must have seen out there on the roads. Peter, let's start with you. When we think of fire and rescue, we usually think of you out there fighting fires, but there's much more than that, isn't there?
Fire and Rescue New South Wales now attends more non-fire rescues than we do structure fires. A number of years ago, we changed our name from New South Wales Fire Brigades to Fire and Rescue New South Wales to better reflect what we do. In the 15-16 financial year, we attended 5,000 motor vehicle collisions.
Wow. On TV, we often see firefighters sitting around the fire stations waiting to be called to the incident. Is that really what it's like?
It's not really what it's like. Approximately half of our firefighters are full-time on-shift firefighters that are at the station. And when they're at the station, they're doing things like training, checking their equipment, and community engagement or community safety activities. And the other half of our workforce is part-time. So whilst they do get paid, they respond from their workplace or from their home when their phone rings and tells them they've got an emergency to go to.
In an earlier episode of Be Street Smart Online, we watched a crash scene scenario. Can you tell us about Fire and Rescue's role in these kinds of incidents?
So when Fire and Rescue New South Wales receive a call to a motor vehicle collision with persons trapped, we respond a number of fire trucks. One's responded to provide fire protection in case the car catches fire while the person's trapped within it and to protect our rescuers. And then additional fire appliances are responded to provide the rescue capability. And those firefighters receive specific training to do things like stabilise the vehicle to stop it moving and then work in conjunction with the paramedics on the scene to gain access to the patient and then subsequently cut them out of the car.
It must be hard to see people in such a distressing situation. Does this get harder when it's a younger person in the car?
Can be more difficult with a younger person because you realise that that person has their whole life ahead of them and their life will be forever changed by what's happening at that point in time.
It's a very traumatic experience for everyone involved. Is there a particular incident that's stayed with you?
I've been with Fire and Rescue now for 24 years and an incident a number of years ago where a driver had been driving for an extremely long period of time and may have been under the influence of drugs, ran a red light and killed two people. So they killed the driver and the small child in the back died on the way to hospital.
Wow, it all sounds really harrowing. Does it take a personal toll on you?
It has the potential to. All emergency services workers are at a higher risk of post-traumatic stress disorder and other mental health conditions due to what we expose ourselves to help the community. We do have things in place from peer support groups to chaplains and psychologists that can help us deal with those incidents, but you do tend to take some of it home with you to your family as well.
Yeah, thanks Peter. Now Josh, you work with the New South Wales State Emergency Service. Can you tell me what the New South Wales SES does and how you assist in road crashes?
Yeah, sure. So as many of you may know, that we do have a combat role of floods, storms and tsunamis, but one of the facts that many people don't know is that we are one of the largest providers of road crash services within New South Wales. So that involves our units going out and attending road crash rescues.
Is it the same as the fire brigade, where there are full-time and part-time members?
No, so all the frontline members that you see turn out in orange are all volunteers. They're all highly trained and skilled operators going through many months of training to become a road crash rescue operator.
Yeah, it sounds like a tough job. What are some of the situations you've had to deal with at a crash scene?
Look, we deal with many situations, but one that sticks with me is a male who was in a car crash. He has impacted a tree at quite high speeds, and it was suggested that he was on his mobile phone. The impact was so severe that it actually dislodged the engine and had thrown it down the road about 30-40 metres. So it was quite worrying to, I guess, after the fact to hear that a phone may have been a factor in that crash.
Yeah. That sounds really full on for you. As a volunteer emergency responder, how do you personally deal with some of these situations?
Yeah, look, it is quite hard. Some of the situations we do go to are quite traumatic, and we have to remember that we're all humans at the end of the day. We have to go home to our own families, and they often have to deal with that. But also personally, we have to deal with some of the traumatic scenes that we see. Like Fire and Rescue New South Wales, we have internal processes, chaplains, peer support that help us deal with that. But it can be hard sometimes, and people do leave the service because they can't deal with the trauma that they've seen.
Yeah, which leads me to the big question: why do you volunteer your time?
Look, Jamie, I guess everyone has a different reason, but for me, I just wanted to give back to the community. And I'd also seen some situations where I thought that my skills and capability could be used, to help my local community.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty clear both you guys do incredible work, and I hope everyone watching this never has to actually meet you guys. Do you have any advice for young drivers about staying safe on our roads?
Fire and Rescue New South Wales encourages all young drivers to follow the road rules, drive to the conditions, and no one's life is worth a text message or a phone call.
Yeah.
I'd just like to echo what Peter said. We're just asking people to slow down on the roads and make safe decisions. Do you need to make that risk? Is it a risk worth your life?
Yeah. Well, I think if our viewers will listen to anyone, you guys are right up there as experts on why we should stay safe on our roads. I know I wouldn't want to become one of the people you have to rescue. Thank you so much for joining us today on B Street Smart Online.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks.
Before we go, I'd like to thank Woolworths Petrol for supporting us and for being our presenting partners. For more information, please check out the B Street Smart Online website. Thank you for joining us today for this episode of B Street Smart Online. We look forward to seeing you again next time.